Oh boy, things are not looking good at Xbox today. Over the last couple of years, Xbox has been getting praise and some hate across the industry for its buying up studios, right? You know some of the things they did with Playground Games, what they did with Ninja Theory, and then most recently Activision Blizzard. But before that, we really knew they were really going hard into gaming when they purchased ZeniMax, $7.6 billion. This gave them control over Starfield, Fallout, Doom, so many games. People are so excited. Hey, Microsoft is serious about gaming. This was 3 years ago. And now they've shut down studios from ZeniMax. We found out today that Arkane Austin, the people who made Redfall, which I'm going to keep it $150 with y'all, Redfall didn't do very well. I was someone who was excited about Redfall, and they did not hit the mark. They knew very well. People are confusing Arkane Austin with Arkane Lyon, which is doing the Blade game. It's not the same studio. They're like sister studios. Arkane Austin, Redfall, is what's been shut down. Alpha Dog Studios, I believe that studio that made the mobile game Mighty Doom, they were closed down. And the one that hit the worst out of these three, Tango Gameworks, right? Tango Gameworks is the studio that brought you Evil Within 3, and most recently, one of the games that was considered Game of the Year, one of the highest scoring Xbox games, one of the most exciting Xbox games, Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was a game that even people like Aaron Greenberg went on to social media and talked about how it was a success for them, how great it was. We know it recently released on PlayStation 5, and it's been getting great reviews. People are loving Hi-Fi Rush, and there's likely not going to be a Hi-Fi Rush 2 because the studio was gone. Not too long ago, head of the studio did leave, and people kind of thought some rumblings of things that might be going on with the studio, but we didn't think it would be shut down. Now it is completely gone. We don't know if the people who worked at the studio are going to be fully absorbed in the other studios. That could be the case, but most likely people have lost their jobs. Some people might just want to leave now because they have a sour taste in their mouth. We've seen some tweets go off people who still work at Xbox, who work at some Bethesda studios that spoke out pretty loud on social media today, and they kind of just don't really care because they're very frustrated at what's happening in Microsoft. And again, I do know this isn't an Xbox thing. This isn't an Xbox hate video. Oh my God, you hate Xbox. Everyone's doing studio shutdowns, right? We know Sony did some shutdowns. We know Tencent did some shutdowns. It's not just Xbox, but what hurts the most for a lot of people and what kind of digs at us the most is the fact that they just bought these studios not even 3 years ago. Microsoft was behind on the studio game, right? They relied so heavily on third-party things on the Xbox 360 in the beginning of the Xbox One. And one thing people wanted them to do was, hey, develop studios. And Microsoft said, we'll do one better. We'll go out and buy one. I think they developed one studio, the studio that's making the initiative, that's making Perfect Dark, but the rest they went out and bought. We're like, hey, okay, you want to buy them? A lot of people say consolidation sucks, but we get what you're doing. You buying these studios. These studios are going to have a big money backing behind them. Let them go out and create. They got Xbox Game Pass, so you can do things like Hi-Fi Rush, some of the smaller titles, because they can go out and live in Xbox Game Pass, and you kind of mitigate the worry of, oh, this is a small game and it may not be that successful. You mitigate that with Xbox Game Pass. But if you shut down these studios and say, hey, the reason we're shutting these studios down is because we want to focus on the bigger titles, in my opinion, this will stifle Game Pass because you're going to have these teams say, hey, we want to make this game, but maybe we're not too sure if we're going to get the money behind it or if it's going to be a critical commercial success, but we can put it in Game Pass. Some people might love it, and it could lead to sales. So, I mean, let's keep it $150. It's been proven the Xbox Game Pass does lead to more sales in games. This is data that's already been put out from many people in the industry. It leads to possibly being ported over to the PlayStation 5. You know, Game Pass on Xbox, full price on PS5. A perfect example for that is Hi-Fi Rush, right? Perfect example of that as well is Sea of Thieves. It's on Xbox Game Pass, but at one point it was the #1 pre-order game on PlayStation 5. This is a very, very sad. People have the right to be mad. I do understand people saying, oh, it's not just Xbox, but we got to understand Xbox is not in the position right now as far as confidence to the consumer to say, hey, we're going to be shutting down these studios, but it's going to be a good thing. And on the same day, a controller was announced, and it's just no one is reading the room. People across departments aren't talking to each other because there's no way you can release and announce a controller the same day you say, hey, we're shutting down studios. Again, I hope the people who whose studio was shut down. I hope they found other jobs in ZeniMax. We don't have all the details on whether people were laid off or if they're going to be in other places, but it sucks to hear studios get shut down. In the grand scheme of things, number one, if people lost their jobs, which I'm not saying if they really people did, but two, it's going to stifle creativity. That's one of the major things. I don't want creativity stifled, right? For the longest time, we think about Activision Blizzard. You think about the studios that worked off Activision Blizzard. So many of those studios were just Call of Duty support studios, right? I don't want Tango Gameworks. I don't want Alpha Dog. I don't want Arkane Austin to be Fallout support studios. I don't want them to be Starfield support studios. I want them to be able to create their own game. And one of the most shocking things about this as well is Microsoft, Phil Spencer talked not too long ago about them wanting to push in Japan. You had a Japanese studio in Tango and you shut it down. Make it make sense.